Welcome, Pesky Plant Trackers, to the third and final video in the Wild Parsnip Phenophase series. Before we hop on into today's Phenophases, let's take a moment to discuss how this invasive species spreads. This plant produces extremely large amounts of fruit each year, and each and every one of those fruits contains 2 seeds. So, this plant can produce thousands of seeds every single year, and each seed could, potentially, turn into an entirely new plant. I tell you this because it is important for all of you to do your part to prevent yourselves from accidentally spreading this invasive species. After every observation, make sure to check and make sure that you are not accidentally dragging any of the fruits with you. It only takes one seed to start another outbreak of this plant in a new area. Now, moving on to the topic of today's videos. Today, we will be discussing the 3 fruit phenophases of wild parsnip. The 3 fruit phenophases are fruits, ripe fruits, and recent fruit or seed drop. As the diagram shows, these 3 are all the latest to occur in wild parsnip, and they end late in the year. Starting off with the first fruit phenophase, which is referred to as fruits. It is defined as when one or more fruits are visible on the plant. For wild parsnip, the fruit is flattened and seed-like, with 2 tiny fruits joined tightly together, and changes from green to yellowish to tan or light brown, and splits into 2 one-seeded segments. The parts of this image that are circled show the fruit's phenophase during its yellowish stage. And in the image here, we can see this phenophase after the fruit has changed from yellow to tan or brownish. Only after the fruit's phenophase begins can the ripe fruit's phenophase begin. It is important to note that these 2 phenophases do overlap, and they end at the same time, similar to the flower phenophases of wild parsnip. The ripe fruits phenophase is defined as when one or more ripe fruits are visible on the plant. For wild parsnip, a fruit is considered ripe when it has turned tan or light brown. An example of this phenophase is shown in the image on the right. Here's another example of the ripe fruits phenophase. It should be somewhat clear when the fruits have turned ripe, as they're a very distinct color. And a quick reminder once again that since this plant is in the ripe fruits phenophase, it is, by default, also in the fruits phenophase. The last fruit phenophase, called recent fruit or seed drop, can occur at the same time as the fruits and ripe fruits phenophases. This phenophase is defined as when one or more mature fruits or seeds have dropped or been removed from the plant since your last visit, not including obviously immature fruits that have dropped before ripening, such as in a heavy rain or wind, or empty fruits that have had dropped their seeds long ago but remained on the plant. If you compare this plant to when you saw it last, and there are fewer fruits present, you can answer yes to the recent fruit or seed drop phenophase. And when there are still ripe fruits that have yet to drop and release their seed, that means that the plant would be in all 3 fruit phenophases. Lastly, a quick note that recent fruit or seed drop means that it has dropped since your last visit. Only answer yes if this is the case. If fruit dropped at one point, but no fruit has dropped since your last visit, then it is no longer in this phenophase. There we have it, folks. You are now ready to take this information and apply it to your Pesky Plant Trackers observations. Thank you for taking the time to educate yourself on the 3 different fruit phenophases of wild parsnip, and make sure to check out the other wild parsnip phenophase videos to provide yourself with a deeper understanding of how to observe this plant.